for sharing your story. Our stories matter because Chris and Kelly mattered, because these guys matter. Addiction lies to us, and it tells us that our worth and value is diminished. But it's not true. People have inherent worth and value because they are created in the image of God and stamped with his likeness. Not even addiction is strong enough to destroy that. We can cover it up pretty good. We can pretend it's not true, but even we are not powerful enough to undo it. It doesn't belong to us. William's Place is the story of a dead dream resurrected by a phone call. The vision that wouldn't go away, born in a state facility down the road and in the pews of Christ Community Church. God had planted this idea, and it was his, really. This dream that was a response to pain and suffering, it kept following me around and it wouldn't let go. But it wasn't happening, so it went to the place of dead dreams. And till one day I got that phone call from this fighting, tenacious mom who said to me, I need a place to send my son. Where can I send William? And in all of my frustration, the words just tumbled out, and I said, the place I want to send him doesn't exist. And so it was several days later that I got the second phone call. And she said, let's make it exist. And here we are. Here we are in the wake of a good God who grants good dreams and then grants them beauty from ashes. It's amazing. So, why William's Place? Addiction is a picture of what is true for all of us. I remember early on in my work as a counselor, working with addicts and alcoholics, I would encounter this phenomenon in which people would paraphrase the beginning of the gospel to me. They would say things like, I feel like I'm already dead, and I'm just waiting for my body to catch up. And I thought, I know this story. This is our story. This is the beginning of the gospel. And so it is that we reach for the thing that we think will fill us up, and it seems good to us, but really it is death. At William's Place, we get to tell the second half of the story, the resurrection part, the restoration part. The good news is that we have a God who sets a table before us in the very shadow of death. And he does it with the real thing, with real food and real relationships and beauty and life and himself. So what does this look like? What is on this table? Well, if you spend any time at all at William's Place, you know that relationships are central to what we do. Addiction is isolating. It disrupts connection. At William's Place, we engage in relationships that show that being loved and known is possible by community and by God and by oneself. This isn't just a theory. It happens one dinner and one chess game and one hike at a time. Addiction and that life also comes with a lot of scars, and some of these scars were there before addiction ever started. Trauma, depression, abuse, anxiety, shame, all of those are things that we confront at William's Place because they get in the way of relationships and healing and a good life. No one trades everything that means anything to them for what can be held in a container. They're doing that for really good reasons. And so at William's Place, we take a look at what needs this is meeting for them. And we look at meeting those needs very differently in a real way. And a lot of that happens in the counseling room. The physical self. So addiction isn't just about thinking and feeling, it's a very physical process. So much of what we do at Williams Place is about learning to inhabit our bodies well. We are made for really good food, for exercise, and for restful sleep. Sometimes we need medication, and it's really important to us. This is a key component that there is no shame or stigma associated with that. It is part of living a good life for a lot of these men. Work is also at our table. No one wants to think all the time, and no one certainly wants to be in counseling all the time, nor should they. Sometimes what we need is to not think, to hit a hammer and to engage in the work of our hands and to feel productive. The guys work a few days a week and we hold that money for them. Its part is really important to us as well. We need to feel like our work is contributing to the building of a future life. And the guys leave with a very small but important start to that future. Fun. You would think, well, that's not a necessary category, but really it is. It's not optional. We're made to have fun, and either we will figure out a good way to do that, or we will go back to the way that we know. If we think about addiction, it develops most often during that time when we're deciding what fun is. We're exploring, we're differentiating from our parents, and so it's really important that we learn that that can happen without the use of substances. There is an intensity to addiction, and so we do our best to try to meet that intensity with what we're doing in recovery. And this happens with some of our excellent adventures that include things like hiking and kayaking and ziplining and bouldering and camping and horses. All of these things are part of what we do at Williams Place. One thing I think that is also true about us is that we long for what is beautiful. At Williams Place, there is a lot of exposure to beauty. We certainly engage it outside, we see it in relationships, and people are often surprised by our home. That it was beautiful was really important to us from the very beginning. God sets this lavish table before us, and we want to do the same as part of reflecting to these men that they have inherent worth and value, and that they are loved and cared for. The beautiful one makes beautiful things, and his promise to us is that he is making even us beautiful. So you have probably picked up by now that we talk a lot about God at Williams Place, that he made us, that he loves us, that he has come for us, that we know, that we can know who we are because of him. We have devotionals and Bible studies, and we do celebrate recovery, and we go to church, but it's more than that. It's why we do what we do. It's our hope that the love of Christ is what permeates every inch of that home and every interaction and experience with these guys. At Williams Place, we are extending this message of hope, that life is possible, that joy is real, that these men are valuable, and that they are loved by God and by us. That is what is happening, and I am so grateful.